Fusion Mobile, quality e-learning experience on the go.
Programming language. What is a programming language? This can say to be a set of commands, instructions, and other syntax used to create a software program. Languages that programmers use to write code are called high-level languages. This code can then be compiled into a low-level language which is recognized directly by the computer hardware. High-level languages are more easily understood by humans, while low-level languages are more of zeros and ones, machine language that humans cannot readily understand. These high-level languages allow programmers to write source code in a natural fashion, using local words and symbols. Many high-level languages are similar enough that programmers can easily understand source code written in multiple languages. Now, let us take examples of high-level languages. These include C++, Java, Perl, and PHP. Languages like C++ and Java are called compiled languages, since the source code must first be compiled in order to run. Languages like Perl and PHP are called interpreted languages, since the source code can be run through an interpreter without being compiled. Generally, compiled languages are used to create software applications, while interpreted languages are used for running scripts, such as those that are used to generate content for dynamic websites. Now, low-level languages, these ones include assembly language and machine languages. An assembly language contains a list of basic instructions and is much more difficult to read than a high-level language. In rare cases, a programmer may decide to code a basic program in an assembly language to ensure it operates as efficiently as possible. An assembler can be used to translate the assembly code into machine code. The machine code or machine language contains a series of binary codes that are understood directly by a computer's CPU. Needless to say, machine language is not designed to be human readable, so you can't understand it. It is mainly zeros and ones, because it is written just for the computer to understand in binary codes. Now let us think about interpreted languages. A programming language is by definition different from machine code. This must therefore be translated so that the processor can understand the code. A program written in an interpreted language requires an extra program, the interpreter, which translates the program commands as needed. Now let us talk about compiled language. A program written in a compiled language is translated by an additional program called a compiler, which in turn creates a new standalone file which does not require any other program to execute itself. Such a file is called an executable file. Now, an intermediary language can be said to be of both categories. That is, it is both compiled language and interpreted language. Examples are Lisp, Java, Python, and so on. The programs written in these languages may in certain cases undergo an intermediary compilation phase into a file written in a language different to the source file and non-executable, requiring an interpreter. Let's look at this table which shows examples of programming languages. As we can see, we have Ada. The main application area of Ada is real-time, and it is a compiled language. Next here we see Basic. Basic is a programming language for educational purposes, and it is an interpreted language. We also have C. C is a system programming language. It is a compiled language just like Ada. C++, which is an improvement on C, is a system object programming language and also a compiled language like C. COBOL is a business management language and is also a compiled language like Ada, C, and C++. We have Fortran, which is a calculation and mathematical programming language, which is mainly meant for calculations and mathematical formulas. It is also a compiled language. We have Java. Java is an internet-oriented programming language. It is an intermediary language. We also have MATLAB, which is used for mathematical calculations. This is also an interpreted language, just like BASIC. We have Mathematica, which is a mathematical calculations language like MATLAB, and like it is also interpreted. We have Lisp, which is mainly meant for AI, that is, artificial intelligence. It is an intermediary language. We also have Pascal, which is an educational language and also a compiled language like C and C++. We have PHP. PHP is a dynamic website development language. It is an interpreted language. We have Prolog. It is a language meant for artificial intelligence programming, and it is interpreted. And finally on the list, we have Perl. Perl is a processing character strings programming language, and it is interpreted.